Hello, welcome to my second AI ChatGPT live demo session. I've been using AI for all parts of my personal and professional workflow for about 6 months now, and people have started asking me what I do to optimize and do a lot of things in a really productive way. My favorite way that I've been using AI recently is to help me find, prepare for, and get jobs. So I'm going to show you a 3-step series about how you can do that, whether you're on the job search, thinking about helping get started for the job search, or in an active interview process. This will be part 1, where I'm going to talk about how you can get your own self and your profile ready in a hurry for any job that you might be looking for. So I'm going to go through getting your profile information from LinkedIn, running it through AI, and preparing your resume and your bios for your job. Are you ready? Let's go. So let's first get this screen kind of set up a little bit better here. I'm going to start on LinkedIn. So as a lot of you know, I work fractionally, which basically means I have a commitment problem and can't say yes to just one job all the time. But I was recently asked for the first time in over a decade to create a resume. I had promised myself that I would never apply for a job with a resume again, but I decided to just this once, and I used AI to help me make it. So I want to show you what I did. As you can see, I have a LinkedIn profile where I'm active in some ways, but I don't really have a lot of details here. And I also have a lot of really random work experiences. And I didn't really want to spend the time to start from scratch at a resume. So let's start from what LinkedIn already has. If you click the resources button on LinkedIn, you can actually save your profile as a PDF. And this is a great place to start. Let's take a look at it. What it's done is it's taken the summary that I have and it's pulled in all of my experiences. It's still kind of just a laundry list, but you can see earlier on in my career when I was a little more committed to real resumes, I have some detailed information here. So we're going to use this as a starting point. Now, before I prepare a resume, I want to prepare for which job I might be interested in. So let's just go find a job that I could theoretically apply for. I have a massive pet peeve about LinkedIn, by the way, which is because I used to work as a general manager in a couple cases, it now just picks jobs for me based on my job title of general manager. So I'm now always served like general manager jobs at restaurant chains, which I find is fascinating. But that's not actually what I'm looking for. Founder in residence at an AI fund. This is an interesting one. I try to keep myself personally relevant across startups, venture capital firms, and foundations. So this looks like a founder in residence role at an AI fund. I have AI experience. I have VC experience. It looks like they're helping people, looking for people to help launch products, build business cases. Great. So what I'm going to do as a first thing is catch all of this information because it's going to help me prepare myself. So I'm just going to copy and pull this in. I made a folder in my Google Drive called Job Prep. So let's just dump this in. This is the job that I want to apply for. Job description. Okay. So founder in residence job description. I don't need to format this or anything. So let's start from this and my profile. Now I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to start just like a basic thread here around my role in this job. So let's start by saying I'm going to apply for a job as a founder in residence and need help preparing my resume. The thing I like to do here is ask, based on the job description, what are the things I'd want to highlight in my resume so that I can just really make sure I'm getting prepared. What are the most important skills to highlight based on this role? Let's see. And I just pasted everything in. I'm going to call it skills and competencies here. Okay. So now it's going to read this and give me some very quick baseline information about what I might need if I wanted this job. I find this to be pretty effective. Again, I tend to assume anything that comes out of ChatGPT cold is about 80% good. So you're kind of getting a B average, which is fine in this context. Okay, entrepreneurial experience, business product leadership, AI, data-driven mindset, fundraising, leadership, team building, great. Nice to have skills. I I've got basically all of these things, but I just haven't communicated it right. Now it's also priming me with resume structure. This is also just a little bit of a way of priming your individual ChatGPT instance about what you're about to do next. So now I'm going to upload from the computer the profile. That's my LinkedIn profile. And say, help me take this profile and resume and turn it into a draft resume better suited for this job. Now, again, I'm barely giving it any context here. So let's see what happens. But you can see it's reading the document. It's reading the job that I've already primed it with. And now it's going to help me start a resume, hopefully in a lot quicker of a way than it would otherwise. Okay, so I've got my name. I've got my contact details. It's pulling in a professional summary here. Great. It's pulling in some core competencies. You can see right here, it's pulling in core competencies that are sort of related to what we were looking at in that founder in residence job, which is good. And now it's pulling in my professional experience. So I've got Tech NYC, which is my current job. This is very, very relevant for that particular job. So I definitely want to lean into that. It's good that it's pulling in the fact that I've been basically running my own business for a couple of years, because that like gives me the founder cred that they're probably looking for. And what's pretty cool is it's actually pulling in some information about what I did in that job, even though on my LinkedIn, it doesn't actually have that information. So check it out. If I'm looking at just my profile here, I didn't include anything on this about the fact that I have been doing that type of grant strategy work. But because I use AI so effectively, it actually, ChatGPT knows everything about me. You can see there's like a full memory here. So it's pretty impressive that it's able to pull out some of those details from previous conversations, which again, gives me a head start. This is looking like a really, really great starting point. So I'm going to just copy this now, pull it into my job prep folder, and let's get this resume going. Okay. This is a 3-page resume. I don't like it being that long. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and say, make a shorter professional summary. Maybe like just a sentence or two would be much better. Great. It's still a little bit long. I'm just going to keep this first sentence here. But I'm going to say keep one sentence and include an objective related to the founder in residence job. Okay, so I'm trying to, again, give targeted, specific things. If I were really passionate about this particular job, I would get a lot more detailed in there, but this, again, is a really helpful starting point. Now I'm shortening it. Okay, I'm an entrepreneur with 15 years of experience building startups and scaling community-driven initiatives. Seeking to leverage my experience in product development, market validation. I don't really call it market validation. I'll say like market mapping and operational leadership. Great. I'm okay with that summary. Now, it's suggesting maybe I pull in my core competencies here. That could be useful. I have such a jumpy resume that it might be helpful for folks, but in the sake of just space, I'm going to get rid of that part here. Someone told me recently that these lines and these bars are a key indicator that you have used AI for this work. So I tried to delete them off the bat. Now, it's also stopping my profile experience at Bolster, which was my job from 2020. So that's like a little bit tricky because I obviously have had work prior to 2020. I'm going to delete these selected initiatives. But I am going to go back here and say, summarize my work prior to 2020 in 4 to 5 bullets to include. I don't want to have people assume I've only been working for 4 years, because I've actually been working for 15 years. Okay, so now it's going to pull in some of these other things. Stack Overflow, my work in media, my work in early consulting. These are the 3 that feel most relevant to me. I kind of love that they've just pulled in like these high level details here. It makes me think maybe I should frame Bolster in the same way. Let's include Bolster in this list. Actually, no, I'm going to keep Bolster as kind of like a separate one. I'm going to call this early career and keep these 3 bullet points a little bit more top of mind. Okay, great. We've got a really good first draft of a resume here. One thing I am going to switch around is just the ordering here, because this was a little bit more recent. Uniswap Foundation, create connections. This is a great starting point for a resume. It's still slightly too long, but I actually don't want any of that. And 2 pages is way better. You would then spend some time actually formatting this and making this a lot stronger. Kind of the things I would look for, again, that last 20%, go through, confirm all these facts are correct, try to pull in some more numbers, try to pull in some more details. All those things are really true, but I just got a resume in 5 minutes. Now, the other thing that I tend to do for ChatGPT is using this to help me prepare my bio for these roles. So help me write a bio about myself that I could use in pitching my role. Now it's going to pull in all the information that it has, and it's going to give me a great bio. I think writing bios is one of the worst parts about working for yourself, because I find it to be excruciatingly painful to just write about yourself. So this is too long. Make it shorter. Include more specific details and company names. Now, one thing I'm also noticing that it's not pulling in from my LinkedIn is like things like my blog. I have a very active blog. I talk about AI a lot in that blog. So I think what I would do now is also include the fact that I write prolifically about using AI on my blog. So again, I'm just telling the AI like what I need for it to do. Bethany, fractional operator, emerging tech strategist. Great. You're generating a new bio. What I don't love is like the recency bias of it. It's like pulling in stuff that have like maybe bigger names but aren't quite as like related with the AI piece. So that said, it's still a pretty good starting point for a bio. So now I'll get this bio going. I'll say bios for job search. The last thing that I would do is use AI. Again, come right back into that ChatGPT instance, and you can reframe this bio and ask it to tell the story from an educational leadership perspective. If you're looking for ed tech companies, like I'm also looking at, I could ask it to rewrite it for like more of a VC perspective and like highlights on my investor or advisory experience. I can have it pull in and just lead with my nonprofit leadership and foundation experience. And this is how I could easily come up with quick bios for any part of my job search process. But there you can see in basically under 10 minutes, I now have a pretty good working draft resume, a great bio that's targeted to the job that I'm looking for. And that is my first place where I'm going to start with AI. In the next conversation, I'll talk about how you can prepare your job interview based on the details of that job and your current work experience. Thanks.